Welcome to Winning Every Living Day. I'm Aurelie Cormier, and together with Dr. Pat, we will help you to envision the life of your dreams. This is the space where women like you are inspired to believe in yourself, believe in your dreams, and your ability to create a life you truly love. Together, we'll explore health and wellness, relationships, careers, and the small but powerful baby steps that lead to lasting transformation. Because no matter where you start, life is meant for joy, happiness, and abundance, whether in vibrant health, loving connections, fulfilling work, or freedom of time and money. Here, you'll learn to reflect, visualize, feel, and take action so you can manifest the life you deserve. Let's step into your power and start winning every living day together.
I think I'm going to start the show, but very soon you're going to hear from the host of the show. I love it when an idea emerges, but then you take that idea and you move beyond the idea, and it becomes a new purpose direction for you. And then that purpose direction becomes a calling for you. And you look at the transition and change. That's what winning every living day, right, with Aurelie is about. This episode is so right on. The time is now for women to win every living day. Aurelie, great to be with you to launch this. And I would love to just kick it off. This is an important topic, but we need to talk about the podcast, the show itself, and the call for winning every living day and what that means to you.
Right. Yeah. And I am so glad to be here with you as well. And also for our audience, this message I think will resonate with you, but I think we can all agree, these are very challenging times. Some days it feels like we're just jumping from one chaotic event to the next, and with hardly a room to take a breath. And I think traditionally, as women, what we see our role in this world is to be the support system and to be the caregivers, the ones who comfort and nurture our children, our family, our communities, our churches, our patients, our clients. And it's not easy at times, and it can leave us feeling like we are the support structure, but we're not getting a lot of support ourselves. And I think our brains as women are often imprinted, or at least I know mine was, that we are meant to give of ourselves without expecting much in return, or not having a voice in what is happening, not feeling like we're respected or acknowledged for what we do. And this is actually a path to burnout and exhaustion. I know myself in my career as an oncology nurse, I was burned out several times, and it made me realize how important it is to take care of ourselves really well. Otherwise, we're not good for ourselves. We're not good for our family. We're not good for our patients or our clients. So this is a really important thing, is that we nourish ourselves and we honor ourselves, and that we don't have to be an invisible person within our culture, or it's not seen as an okay thing to use our voice to express ourselves, or that we have the respect that we deserve for what our passions or our purpose are in this lifetime. And I think, to be honest, more recently, I've heard more statements around, because we have many couples are not having the number of children that they had today. The country is seeing that we're not going to be able to support the seniors as we tend to live longer. And so women are being encouraged to have more babies, stay at home, take care of those babies, take care of their husbands, and without an acknowledgement of what their passions and their purpose are in this lifetime, and what we contribute to this society in big and small and impactful ways. So within this crucible and at this inflection point in our history, I wanted to empower women to realize that we're on the cusp of a transformation time in history, and we can believe in ourselves. We can have power. We can think about what we would love in our life, what our passions are, and go after those things. To be authentic, to step into what our soul purpose here is in this lifetime. Because honestly, we've had a lot of power. We just haven't recognized it. We haven't been aware of it. When I think of the power that we women have in birthing children, in raising children, and sons as well as daughters, right? How are we encouraging our sons to think about the women in their life? So, or to believe that it's okay for women to have an abundant life or to
Yeah.
manage the money and to be able to spend it the way that they want, right? And all of this in a holistic and comprehensive way in terms of our mind, our body, our spirit.
We're looking
So,
for role models here too.
yes,
So,
absolutely.
so let's talk about, let's take out a pointer
Mm-hmm.
and walk people through as we go through this transformative time in history. And it really is. Um, I've been here a while to know that every time we go through things that really create resistance, there's a
Mm-hmm.
rising up.
Yep.
I've seen it over and over again. I don't know why this would be any different. But as we're looking at this, now that you've said that, how do you see women moving forward? Basically, women winning every living day.
Yes. Thank you for asking that. When I think about it, what I'll do to highlight that is I want to share a personal story. My own, I grew up believing, growing up Catholic, believing that life was meant to be hard, that we were to bear our cross, and we were supposed to keep our mouth shut and don't complain and just keep going in this lifetime and don't talk about how hard some of these things are or what's some of the solution to the hardness. And it wasn't until my late 20s that I realized no, life isn't meant to be hard. We're actually here to be happy and have fun and have a joyful life. But that was a mindset that I had to turn around. So if I, you know, share with you that when I was first growing up, I had an uncle who was 19 at the time. He was diagnosed with a stricture of the aorta and required open heart surgery. And this is back in 1958. This is the early days of open heart surgery. So there
Mm.
was no guarantee he was going to survive.
No, none
But
at all. None.
my
Right.
my grandfather luckily found him the best cardiothoracic surgeon at Boston Children's Hospital. He went in, he had a very successful surgery, despite the fact there were no ICUs in that time, if you can believe that, no cardiac rehab when he was discharged. So we became the cardiac rehab team at home. My uncle came back to live with my grandparents, and my mom and dad and I lived with my grandparents at the time too. And my grandfather and uncle were given very explicit instructions about what he could do to help himself to recover. And one of the things was a healthy heart diet. So our entire family went on a healthy heart diet. And the other thing was that we had to take him out for a walk every day. So I was 14 months old at the time. Of course, I was learning to walk. My uncle was learning to walk again, and I would take him out for a walk. I obviously, at 14 months old, I don't remember this, but emotionally, the feeling gets imprinted. It's been imprinted in every cell of my body, this idea of prevention and recovery and healing. So fast forward 20 years, I now go to nursing school. I come out of nursing school. Now I'm taking care of more people. And along the way, I'm thinking, geez, what are we doing to prevent these things in the first place? I just see more and more sick people coming in. and and I developed a love of oncology. I loved helping my patients to work through their surgeries, chemo, radiation to survive, to heal, and helped, many of them also to transition to the next life. And I felt it was something that gave me great joy. Well, then fast forward another 20 years, I'm now 40, and I had an experience where I ended up getting pregnant. Didn't mean to get pregnant, but I did. And then I had to make a decision. Was I going to continue with this pregnancy as a single mom, or was I not going to continue this present pregnancy? And so I decided, let me go ahead. I will have this baby. I have a good job. I'm a responsible person. You never know what you can do until you have to do it. And then I was like,
Tell
oh
me.
my God, what did I get myself in for? But luckily, I'm a very strong person. And I was able to, I figured I did not have much wiggle room. At 40, I needed to keep myself as healthy as possible. I had always lived a very healthy life, but I made sure I ate a pesco vegetarian diet. I ran every day on the beach until 26 weeks. Then I swam after that. I meditated. I did not have any processed food, no caffeine, no alcohol, not even, and I didn't even have chocolate, if you can believe that. I just didn't want to have any caffeine in my life at all and or expose my baby to it. But then at 35 weeks, my doctor told me I needed to be admitted to the hospital because I had preeclampsia, not really knowing what the next, week was going to be like. And so they admitted me, put me on the Pitocin, induced me over 2 days. The preeclampsia turned into severe preeclampsia and HELP syndrome. And at one point during this experience, as I'm lying on my back in labor and delivery, I see a whole bunch of angels and spirits on the ceiling. And the message they gave to me telepathically, and I didn't hear it in my ear, it was all from their spirits to my brain, is that everyone I had helped in my life was now helping me, and I was going to be fine. And I believed it, and I still believe it today. I am very grateful for their help, but also I believe that there was a purpose. There are women that do not survive,
Yeah.
pregnancy or birth, or their babies don't survive. But my baby was very healthy. I survived. And it was and during that period, I also had this experience of a peace beyond all knowing. It wasn't anything I felt before. It was nothing I've felt since that time, but it was the most peaceful, beautiful experience. I can't even describe it. The best way is just, it was a peace beyond all
Yeah.
knowing. So I know when we die that it will be the most peaceful, beautiful thing we've ever had in our life. But it also helped me to understand why we're here in the first place.
Yeah.
And it did become very transformative to me, and it was a very powerful life lesson.
Mm.
And
What a beautiful story. Thank you so much for sharing that because, see, this is the kind of information we need to share. The beauty of being able to tell that story is so that, and don't let me put words in your mouth, but it's also to help shift from one of
mhm,
my favorite coach expressions. This has been said to me more times than not. And it's the one where they say, Pat, are you playing not to lose or are you playing to win?
mhm,
Now, I'm not saying one is better than the other. If you're a defensive player, there's a bunch of things you're doing in life, but there's a question around that. So let's
mhm.
talk about what that did to help win every living day
Yeah.
when we can
Well,
focus on the passion.
right. The passion. Exactly. So, this, as I said, I was always, from the time I was little, I always thought about prevention. That was imprinted into my body. But in terms of how that was going to translate into how I help people, it hadn't necessarily been there because I was in a sick care system, one that was very helpful. It was like we have the best sick care system in the world, but it doesn't really revolve around prevention. And so at after this experience, I ended up going to graduate school. I'm taking care of a little baby by myself. I'm going to work. I'm going to graduate school. And luckily, it was serendipitous, but there was a program at UMass Worcester that had a adult nurse practitioner program in cancer prevention and control. And I'm like, oh my God, this program's made for me. This is my passion. And so I applied, I got in and, just absorbed everything I could. They took us to the State House. They had pharmacists that came in and talked about pharmacogenetics and how and epigenetics, and it was an amazing program. And I ended up collecting a whole bunch of research articles and tried to understand, how do we prevent cancer? This is what I'd been trying to figure out all these years. How do we prevent cancer so I don't have to watch some of my patients have these very challenging experiences in their life, and some of them are downright heartbreaking, actually. So what I found, and I ended up writing a paper about this and published it. It's called The Precautionary Principle: What Critical Periods of Growth and Development Teach Us About Cancer Prevention. And it was it was my passion. It ignited in me that this was my sole purpose all along. This was the reason I came to this earth. And so every day, and I figured this out when I was 63 years old, okay? So now every day I get to wake up knowing what my sole purpose is, what my passion is, and it leads me forward. And this is what I want to translate to you. And I would love to support you around is figuring out what you love in your life. What are your passions? What are your talents? What are your gifts? And what you would love to give to the world, because when you get ignited with what you love, that, all this chaos, and that you will help to transform this world into a better, kinder, more compassionate, more peaceful world. And you'll be part of the solution. And I think this is the message that I want to give to those of us listening today, and that those of you who are listening, pass it on to other women, that we are the ones that are going to be the leaders in the future. You are the one that is going to transmit this message, be the light in the world, lead us all forward into a more kind, compassionate world. And so, in terms of some of the points that I want to make about this whole experience I had, one is that, yes, every challenge in our life, the mirror image of that is opportunity. And this was an opportunity for me to grow. And I will tell you, this is the main message my patients gave me over my 41 years in acute care, is many of them came to me. And of course, this takes time. It was like, they told me it was like 1 to 3 years before they were at peace with this. But the main thing that they learned is that this was a gift, because it helped them to reevaluate what was important in their life. And they could now, focus in on the things that were important: their health, their family, their friends, and let go of anything that didn't serve them. Because what we focus on magnifies. And when we magnify those positive emotions like happiness and joy and passion and fun and purpose, that helps our body to heal. And we're also an amazing gift to the world. The other thing is, yes, when we feel that happiness and joy, and we find what our life purpose is and what the meaning is behind our life, then we are winning every living day, right? And this is, they say that this is the beginning of the transformation in our history. It will probably happen, we'll feel it more in 2027, but it's probably going to be another 5 to 7 years before we really feel it. And then I heard a lecture at the Boston Speaker Series last year by Admiral James Stavridis. He used to be the head of NATO. And one of the point he left with us that just made me thrilled is, he said, 200 years from now, when they look back on history, They're going to see this moment in our US history as the time when women stepped into their power. And boy, did that inspire me and give me so much hope that despite what's happening now, despite the what's being said, this is the moment for we women to step into our power, not in a cruel way, but in a very kind, compassionate way to lead us forward. So, and the other thing that I would say that really helps as well is to be grateful. No matter what is happening in our life, uh, we can focus on the negative things if we want. And sometimes we have to because you don't want to ignore them. You want to, you know, uh, be cognizant of them. But then what are you going to do with what those negative feelings or situations are? And if we can focus in on what we're grateful for, that will bring us more happiness and joy. And then we will help us to think more positively about where we want to be going with our life. So I found that many of these things were, incredibly helpful to me. My situation, helped to lead me forward into where I am now. But I couldn't have done it myself. It's done with a lot of support. And I would say I was a person that was fiercely independent. I mean, I'm a descendant of the Mayflower, if that tells you anything about being independent. I could take care of, I could take care, my dad wanted to bring me up to take care of one family if anything happened to my husband, like he died or I got divorced. I was so good at it, I could have taken care of two families having those Mayflower genes. But honestly, what I've had to learn, one of my life lessons, most important life lessons, we all need support in this lifetime. And you know what? Women are good at it. And so this is a time for us to really be in a supportive community, help each other, because when you're in a supportive community, I used to think that if you ate really well and you exercise, that's going to give you a long and healthy life. Well, what I learned, and I was shocked when I heard this, it's actually being in a positive, supportive community. That's what helps you to live a longer, healthier life. And so this is the time when, as women, we can support each other. And that's what I want to
Yeah.
do for you as well. Because I do have some, what I would love to share with you is I have two free master classes coming up. One is next Tuesday on the 16th, and the second half of it is on the 18th. They're from 7 to 8:15, so it's an hour and 15 minutes. I tried to make it as, concentrated as possible because I know we all live very busy lives. And especially if you have kids and you've got to feed, you're working all day, you come home, you got to feed the kids and get them to bed and get them in their baths. You don't have a lot of time, but hopefully I know that there are times when you can sit down and just absorb. And so I want to offer this program to you so that you can think about what you would love in your life. And the sky's the limit. You just think about if you could have anything, if you could do anything, if you could be anything, what would that be? And for some women, they're going to say, the life I have right now, because they love their life. They're doing exactly what they wanted to do. For other women, it may be that there's other things they would love to be doing. And it may take some time to get there, but by envisioning it and thinking about it and getting the support in a community, and I can take you through the steps of what you can do. I manifested my own things that I would love in my life. And I tell you, it's been life changing. You can have that too. You can have the life that you would love, and you will be a light and a beacon, like a beacon for other people in this lifetime.
Well, let me just ask you, how do people register for the class? How do they find out more about you? And thank you so much for sharing this because we are at a turning point and a
Mm-hmm.
tipping point. So how do we
Yep.
find out more about what you're offering?
Yeah. So you can go to my website, AurelieCormier.com. You can see my name on the screen there, Aurelie, and not the Catherine part, but AurelieCormier.com. That will bring you to my website. And there is a workshops page. Now, if you right now, it's going to take a couple of days for it actually to get uploaded onto my website. But
Mm-hmm.
if you check back by Thursday, it should be there on Thursday. And I would love to have you join us. I would love to, help and support
Mm-hmm.
you in manifesting your dreams and envisioning the life you would love.
Look, this is about community support. I don't I don't know how much people know, but you can go to some of the most impoverished communities. But
Mm-hmm.
what you find in them is community support. And
Mm-hmm.
it's amazing to see what you can move past. Thank you
Mm-hmm.
for this message today, Orly. Thank you so much. And congratulations on winning every other day.
Well, thank you.
Congratulations on that.
You
Thank you
you've
so
been a
much.
huge support to me, and I really appreciate it. I'm
Thank
so
you.
I am grateful for you.
Thank you. And we're just warming up.
And to spread the message.
Exactly. For those of you out there, please don't be afraid to call winning into your life. And then please don't be afraid to call winning in your life every living day. It
Mhm.
is a birthright. We'll see you next time.
You've been listening to the Winning Every Living Day with me, Aurelie Cormier, with Dr. Pat. I'm so glad you joined us on this journey of believing in yourself and taking the steps toward a life you truly love. Be sure to tune in every first Tuesday at 11:30 a.m. Pacific Time on Transformation Talk Radio for more inspiration, tools, and strategies to support your health, your relationships, and your dreams. And if you're ready for deeper transformation, sign up for my master classes and workshops by visiting my website, AurelieCormier.com. These powerful programs provide the extra support and guidance that can make an enormous impact in helping you achieve the life you've been dreaming of. Until next time, remember, you have what it takes to start winning every living day.